Welcome in, fam. The Eagles are 6-0. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Let's talk some birds, baby. Giddy up.
Let's go. This ain't the Fox Night. Oh, this game, he stinks.
Oh, shit.
It's gone.
You're listening to Agree to Disagree, the flagship, only on A2D Radio. Uncle Sweeps, Nick DelGozzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Every Sunday, we're brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Also on all your social media platforms. As Bob Menery already announced, Nick DelGozzo, Brian Wilson, Greg Milakovic, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there joining us. It feels good. They beat the Cowboys. We'll get into all of it in a second. At the end of the show, like we do every Sunday, we'll give a crumb of the week. Phillies Padres. It's late tonight. We'll give you a quick NLCS preview because we won't see before it all starts. All right. And listen, it's exciting to say that, right? It feels so good to say that. But we'll get into the Phillies because they feel good. But the Eagles feel good as well. They just got done a game. We'll give our players of the game. Eagles, Cowboys, post-game show. We're here to talk to everybody out there. Comment in. Ties right into our poll. Brought to you by Manscaped. And you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Make sure you use our promo code A2D. Get 20% off and the free shipping. Come on. The free shipping is a no-brainer. No-brainer. Poll question for tonight. The Eagles defense was the biggest key to victory. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the follow. And most importantly, like we say every show, comment in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Tell us how excited you are. And if you got concerns, feel free to air them out in the chat. We'll read them off and address them. But we're a 6-0 football team. And tonight we're a 6-0 football team because of this defense. Because I absolutely agree. And this is what you need them to do. Did they have a little lull? Right? And they did have a lull. Because guess what? That's when Jonathan Gannon says, don't beat me over the top. And you allow a football team to run the football on you a little bit, et cetera, and work their way back into a game. All right, and that's like sort of the ebb and flow of all sports, right? Where teams, good football teams are going to make a little run, and they're going to put themselves back into it. A little bit of it's on us. But without our defense tonight and the 3 turnovers and the 2 from Johnson and then obviously the 1 from Slay, I don't know if you're winning a football game tonight. I don't know. The way it ended, right? 26-17 win, and we talked about it all throughout the week. If you don't turn the football over against Dallas, you're winning. You're winning. And our quarterback did exactly that. He didn't turn the football over, right? Was he perfect? No. But in the red zone, they were money. And that's what matters. In the red zone, they were flat out money tonight. And part of that set up by your defense, right? I get it. Okay. And that's why they're the biggest key to victory. But on the other hand of all the other stuff, they did enough. They did enough. I didn't love it. Okay. And we'll get in all deeper in a few. And after we get that done, the poll question here, I don't love it, but again, a win's a win. You're 6-0 going into the bye week. It's hard to complain. You're not playing on a high level at all times, right? You're having down times throughout the game, some lulls, right? Some bad drives, etc. And you're still 6-0. And I don't even know if this football team's played their best football yet. I don't think they have. For 4 quarters, they have not. But guess what? They had that 1 quarter where they smack you in the mouth. And they had it again tonight where they put up a 20 spot in the second. So they keep having that quarter where they smack you. Now, it's got to be more consistent. But guess what? In money time of this football game, when it said, you better go on a drive, they They honed in and they went on a damn drive. They pounded the football down your throat, and I thought a great play call and great play design on a touchdown to Devontae Smith. That's great play design right there. Right? You have one running wide open because you get your quarterback on the edge. And again, they get missionary. I know Sweeps loves it, right? They get missionary at times of the game, and we watch them, right? And some of it on the quarterback, I don't know, right? You gotta go back and watch it. I don't know, but I just think their play calls are just so vanilla, and it's like, we got a big lead, we take our foot off the gas, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's the players taking their foot off the gas. But guess what? This defense for the majority of this game didn't take their foot off the gas, right? They started putting pressure on Cooper Rush late in the game. They had a pressure on him early, and they made him uncomfortable, and he made himself uncomfortable because he had a lot of piss poor throws, right? And sort of tossed the game away. But without those 3 picks, I don't think, I don't know where this football game goes, but I'm telling you, they might not win it if you don't get all 3 of those. Might not. So I'll agree. The Eagles defense was the biggest key to victory tonight. Everybody out there, what do you say? Is it? Is it not? Is it something else? I would love to hear the something else outside of Cooper Rush, gift wrapping you one. I would like to hear the something else that was the biggest key to victory. Maybe the only other argument that can maybe go around is Jalen not turning the football over against a damn good defense that likes to take the ball away. We know what they do. We know what their success has been. They've taken the football away from people. That's why they were 4-1 coming into this football game. That's what they do, right? I don't know if I'm going to give $200 million to what I've seen in the last few weeks, like a game manager, right? But at the end of the day, you're based off of wins and losses. You're based at the quarterback position about touchdowns and not turning the football over. And even though it wasn't pretty for Jalen all night, and granted, he loses Lane Johnson. That puts a lot of pressure when you got a guy like Michael Parsons. Okay, just does. This does change the whole game, change the way the game was going. But guess what? The kid finds ways to win football games. So sometimes maybe you do give $200 million to that. But we'll get to that bridge when we need to get to that bridge. But overall, well, you got to, we're just talking, Wells. All right, we're talking. Okay?
I didn't even say a word.
I'm just saying, we're here to talk. I mean, at some point, that conversation's got to come
I didn't say a word.
So I just brought it up. But he keeps winning football games. And that's what you're judged by, right? You're judged by wins, losses.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Made a chance of gotten paid in this league, so you might as well pay a guy that wins. And if you want to have the air quote, title, game manager, hey, that's so be it. You know what I mean? And I'm not calling him that, and neither were you. I'm just saying the last 2 weeks, felt like that, but it got him to the finish line. So and then in this league, that's what you got to do. All right, but there's a laundry list of fucking shit burgers that collect millions and millions of dollars, right? Chase Daniel, I mean, the list goes on.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins somehow is 5-1.
Well, it's agree or disagree to the poll.
No, I agree. I think I would say also our O-line. I know we took some injuries late in the game, which kind of hurt it, but I feel like we took over the game by running it down their throat, running it at Mika, making Mika make a decision, which was good. And then whatever he would do, we would go the other way, which is great. Like putting him on an island. I thought that was very smart. I liked the game plan actually until the third quarter where we just got away from it, which was stupid. And then we got back to it at the end for pretty much the game sealing drive. I hate going for 2. I don't know why we keep doing this fucking nonsense. Go for 2 shit. I hate analytics. They'll go for 2, cost me money. That's personally, I hated it just because it cost me money. But I hate it any other way too. We keep doing it. I don't know it. We take points off the board. It's stupid. But besides that, I thought it was a great game. I think that we should have even beaten them worse. I kind of expect us to beat them worse. But the turnovers were great. And we ran the ball well. And our line's dominant. I mean, I know we're getting a good time right now to have a break because we got some injuries. We're a little banged up. But I expect everyone to be back in 2 weeks. And we're a fucking freight train right now.
Yeah, for sure. Sweeps.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to give it to the defense tonight. The offense, did enough, did everything, did their normal thing in the second quarter, and ran the football again, of course. And AJ Brown, he gets he just whenever the Eagles need a play, that's the guy they go to. And it's rightfully so. I mean, he just because if you don't tackle like the guy that tackled Kelsey at the end of the game, then you're not going to get AJ Brown on the ground. Like like you got to learn, you got to go back to your Pop Warner days, all right, and wrap up AJ Brown, or you got no chance. You got no chance. I mean, on that big 22-yard reception in the answering drive that turned out to be, the dagger and the game winner. The guy had him. The guy had him short, and he just and he got off that dude and went for 22 to set him up, first and goal. So, we know what kind of acquisition he was. So sometimes you don't have to be. You're not going to have those. You're going to have those nights when, when the offense isn't going to go for 430 points, or 35 points. They did score 26, but mainly to Tom's point earlier, the 3 turnovers led to those points, and the stupidity of Mike McCarthy. You can just see, like, I don't know, the guy has to be on borrowed time. He just has to be on borrowed time. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a Cowboy fan, just look at the game. Just look at the game objectively. The Eagles are in hand at 14-0. So it's not like, it was, such a momentum changer that but this game, you see how NFL games are turned on one play. I mean, first of all, it's a first down, so I don't even know how the refs missed it. If you're calling the game objectively, I have no idea how you miss it, but that's fine. The guys miss things all the time. You got 4th and inches in your own zone. Even if you don't want to sneak, you got a giant guy that loves to eat porridge. You hand the ball to him. I think he can get a yard. They decide to roll out with a backup quarterback that we saw, Tom alluded to last week. Hey, the Cinder, it's a cute story. It was a cute story for
he's the game manager.
Yeah, it was a cute story for a couple weeks. They're going into Philly. There was no way that dude was going to come in here and beat you, and it showed. You know what I mean? Like, they want to tell me that he got hit on the play there. Okay, great job by Brandon Graham. We know Brandon Graham is full of great plays. The ball's released before Brandon Graham hits him. You understand? That's a bad ball. CeeDee Lamb is wide open, running free for a runt row. Now this game is really getting tight, even after the answer, because that still was probably at the 3-minute mark when that happened, I guess. I think there was still a bunch of time left, and that's, there's still, and I don't know what it's going to lead to, but it's going to make things pretty hairy right there. So, a good quarterback, an elite quarterback in this league makes that throw, and that's a walk-in touchdown for CeeDee Lamb. So it's not a game of, what ifs. I'm just telling you, like, Graham caused the pressure, but he didn't hit him, as the ball was gone. The ball was just short. You know what I mean? He just, maybe he didn't finish his throw, but it's still just, it's a backup quarterback throw. And that's what he is. And give the credit. He had a nice 4 weeks, but you're not going to come in here and be late with the football with this defense. It's swarming not only up front, but they're swarming on the back end, and it just, so they were, colossal turnovers, coupled with, terrible coaching decision right there. And that's, recipe for a home win. But yeah, the defense, absolutely agree to the poll. Defense was, was fantastic again. You expected an answer, maybe not to the 20-17, maybe not get that close, but I expected some kind of pulse out of the Cowboys. They are a good football team, even though their offense has been, living off the defensive turnovers that they're getting. They've been playing on a short field for 4 weeks. So, that's what, the game plan tonight was, hey, make Cooper Rush go the distance. All right. And can he do it? And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Couldn't do it enough in the key moments of the game. Enough to bring them back. But even when they came back, it was because they established a run. Zeke showed up for his 1 game a year, which is against the Eagles. All right, and now he'll go back in his hole. He'll go back and disappear for a while.
I do agree with Rudy Poo, by the way, because Jordan Davis was nowhere in the game in the third quarter when they were just running it down our throat. After he was clogging up the middle of the whole first half.
Yeah, Mr. Rudy Poo, appreciate the $5 super chat. He says, Gannon had Zeke in fantasy. No way you don't play Jordan Davis the whole second half when he's blown everything up. Yep, and Wilson just touched on it.
Absolutely.
And you're right, Mr. Rudy Poo. We appreciate the super chat, and that's factual. Love a factual super chat. Big fan of that. Big fan of that. Greg, do you agree or disagree?
Big fan of smart super chat fans. Big fan.
I ultimately agree. I'll disagree and just highlight our run game for dominating when we needed them to. Right. Ultimately, you guys have absolutely hammered on the defense. Right. That absolutely was the key. But I thought when we got stagnant on our offense, when we started running the ball, we started pushing the Cowboys around, and we started dictating what we do as a football team, we also changed the game on that side too. Right. That big drive that we had at the end to push the lead was very much run driven. And then a lot of what we did in the first half, once we got up that 14, was run the football and dominate and force the Cowboys to then adjust to us. Right? We said it last week going into the game. You're not going to beat them like the Rams tried to do it and throw the ball 50 times. They're too good of a pass rushing team to do that. Right? Parsons is too good. Lawrence is too good. Their middle of their D line is too good to do that. And that showed when we got stagnant and when we got pass happy. It showed because there was times where Jalen kind of looked lost like back there when he dropped back for a couple times, right? You know what I mean? And you hadn't seen that in a while. But I was glad to see the run game pick up the offense, and help sustain and solidify the victory, because I also thought they were a huge part of the game.
Yeah, they were.
Especially when you factor in, as Wilson said earlier, you lost Lane, you lost Landon Dickerson again, right? So now you got Driscoll, you got Opeta there, and I know Marcus threw up the chat about Driscoll. I don't know if maybe Dillard back, and coming off the bye, maybe he's your backup swing tackle now. You know what I mean, as opposed to Driscoll. But I would think anyone going up against Parsons is going to be an issue. That's not Lane Johnson. You know what I mean? Or Mailata.
Yeah, I was going to say you lose an All-Pro. Obviously, there's a bit of a step back you take there. But obviously, I thought Driscoll was okay. He wasn't great, and obviously we couldn't run the ball to the right anymore after Lane left. But when Dickerson and Mailata are in playing, we can run left all day.
Yeah, and sometimes you just wonder why, and not just the Eagles, just the NFL.
Get away from it too much.
The NFL period, the NFL period, exactly. They get away from things, and it's
too cute.
Exactly what I was going with, Wilson. They get away from things, and it's almost like if you're playing a video game and maybe you just want to try things, and but even when I was playing in a video game, if something's working, I'll go to it and I just flip it. I'll flip the other side. You know what I mean? If I feel like I'm rolling, I'll just flip the other side. You know what I mean? So for me, not just a running game, that isolation play with AJ Brown is unstoppable. So if you got to run that 15 times till the Cowboys' head falls off, then the Cowboys' heads fall off, or they figure it out. You got Micah Parsons in space, who's an exceptional defender, might be the defensive player of the year. He can't hang with AJ Brown. And then he's got to decide, am I going to go get Jalen or am I going to cover AJ? They ran it twice, and it was like taking candy from a baby. It was insane. Yep. It was insane. Yep. I'm going back to it. What are you afraid somebody's going to say? Oh, you ran the same play. Oh, thanks. We're 6-0.
For 50 yards twice.
Care. Yeah. Oh shit! Don't shit on your headphones. I don't care.
25 yards twice. Our pets' heads are falling off.
But like I said, you're 6-0. This was a game where, you lost total yardage. You lost, but you won time of possession, turnover battle. I think third downs they were 6 for 14, which is incredible. 1 for 1 on. I think fourth down, which is per usual for them. It was both rushing attacks were even, and they threw for a little more, down 20-0, or 17-0. You expect that they would have had to abandon the run a little bit. So he had to. Some of those yards were late, and so. But that just goes to show you don't have to. You don't have to win every. You don't have to win every facet. You know what I mean? You just got to win. All you got to do is be in the win column. All right, it doesn't matter how you get to the win column. You know what I mean? But I will tell you, and you guys agree, we've been saying it for 6 weeks. The second half bullshit is alarming. All right. And it's going to have to, at some point, it's got to get fixed, boys. I don't know. They got, 3 more tomato cans. So this thing should get to 10-0. And who knows what the Packers are going to be. All right. But at some point, you got to fix the second half, man. If you eventually want to get to the art museum and you want to do all fun things, you know what I mean? You got to fix the second half because, the 2 monsters that are wait for you on the other side are pretty good on the other side. And there's a lot of season left. I'm just saying. I mean, we're talking big.
Yeah.
Let's pump
the brakes.
We're talking big picture.
But I hear you. The third quarter thing's crazy because we have been absolutely dominant in the second quarter. It's like dominant, and again today, dominant in the second quarter. Besides the long kick return, it would have been another shutout. And us dropping 20 spot in the second quarter. But the third quarter, then we just fall. It's like we're like, we got a big lead. We'll just rest on our. Like what Sweep said, we'll try a couple things. We got a big lead. Fuck that. Put the pedal to the metal. Put your foot on their throat. I'd like to see us put the foot on someone's throat. I'd like to see us come out off the bye week, and put the foot on someone's throat.
Yeah, listen. I mean, I want to play.
We're still complaining that's an undefeated team, though. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah. No, that's the whole point I was going to say. I mean, like that's the hard part, right? And that's like where you don't want to be too critical because they are 6-0, but then you're like, all right, I'm looking for a chink in the armor, right? I'm looking for like what can get them down the road, and what can get you is not playing 4 quarters, right? So the positive is, and I'll continue just to keep harping on it. Doesn't mean you're walking down Broad Street. It just means that hey, winning makes it easier to fix it. Now, I've been saying that for a few weeks now, right? And it hasn't been fixed. Now you get a bye week. But listen, I just want to emphasize, like Wells, you just said in the second quarter, they are dominant. They are dominating teams in the second quarter. So listen, if you're averaging 26, 28, 30 points a game, I don't really care when you're scoring them. My big care is, can you go on that drive? And in the last 2 weeks, right, playing devil's advocate did my argument I just had with myself 2 seconds ago. Playing devil's advocate to it is, in the last 2 weeks, when you needed a drive, you went on one. So that makes me feel a little bit better about not playing that great in the second half, but it doesn't take away all my concerns about it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make it go away. It just says, okay, you're checking off these boxes that make us feel like we are what our record says it is, right? And we're checking off all these boxes, but there's just one little box that I feel like I can't check. Now, if you go back to 2017, they were similar in a way. And I can go back, we only won it once, right? And we were playing great football. 2004, I think we just lit everybody up, right? 2004, when we were undefeated at this point in the year, we were just lighting everybody with T.O. and Donovan.
And then we got lit up.
And then we got lit up, right?
Pittsburgh.
But we're winning by not playing 4 quarters. I mean, that's truly amazing. It's almost hard to do. It's almost harder to be 6-0 and pretty much never score in the third quarter, period. And then when you need to score in the fourth, you do. So that tells me, like the Sweeps' point, you can score all day. You could really be like Madden on like not easy, but like medium, where you're dropping 40 a night. Like, bro, I mean, that's where you could be.
Bro, come on. Let's pretend like we played Madden.
And with that, this is probably Jalen's worst game of the year, and yet again, we're coming out with a victory, right?
No turnovers.
Well, you know what?
Agree. Yeah. But like,
what was big, Greg, is they didn't try to force running it because they were playing a spy like almost all game.
Yeah,
and he didn't try forcing running it and didn't take a lot of hits, which I will give him a lot of credit for.
And maybe that's where a little bบof the confusion at times looked like, is because they had that spy there. But again, that's a good defense that we went up with. So you expect a little bit of a step back in times. But again, we won the game, and when we needed to go on the drive, I know it was run based, but when we needed to go on a drive, we did it.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's
right?
all.
And he made the throws when he needed to.
Listen, do I care how you get down the field? I don't give a rat's ass. I don't look at it.
No.
It doesn't matter how you do it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. That the being 6-0, you should feel good, all right? And they've been better than all 6 opponents, right? So that's where I'm saying is not. I'm not saying that's why they're 6-0. I'm saying that we all know this league is a league. Anything can happen in the league. So I'm saying that when you don't score, and when you have these second half, droughts and the big second quarters. Like that's happening because they are inferior to those teams. Right now, tonight was probably the best team they played in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Especially defensively. Granted they had a backup quarterback, but still, that's probably the best team they played in 6 weeks. A team that was rolling, and had it going on. Was playing. Making things happen on defense. So, that's why I say it's not nitpicking. It's just if you're looking big picture, which everybody should, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, hey, division title, there, that's cute, and an NFC championship, that's cute. At the end of the day, everybody plays for the trophy. You play for the trophy, so it doesn't. I know it's week 6. Nobody's hoisting anything. I'm saying either as a fan or as management, as the guys in those locker rooms, right? They should be striving, and they are. They get better every week, and then fix the things where fix your problems. You know what I mean? And they really haven't fixed that in 6 weeks. They haven't had, now they haven't had to, so I don't want to say, hey, they're playing with fire. They just haven't, they haven't had to yet. It hasn't, excuse me, it hasn't bit them in the butt yet. And when it becomes, then the minute that comes, then everybody's like, I told you, there's, we haven't scored in the second half and it was going to get us. And, so you try not to get to that point. You don't want it to be.
It's probably coming
in the first round of the playoffs. You don't want it to be in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, hopefully that's not in the playoffs.
Yeah, hopefully it's something that they continue to work on and try to fix. Right? I mean, it's up to them to fix it. It's up to them to get it right. I mean, I don't. Then it becomes like a trend of something you do, and we know when things become a trend, they're almost harder to get rid of. Right? You know what I mean? It's like harder to get rid of that trend because it's been something that's now all you get asked, from the guys in the locker room are, even after wins, like, you a little concerned about you're playing the second half. So you keep hearing it, and then it becomes a huge point of emphasis. And then for some reason it keeps happening. Right. And that's the weirdest part about it. It's contagious, just like hitting, right? Like, so one guy starts hitting the rest. I mean, we watched 18 innings of no-run baseball the other day because not hitting is contagious too on both sides. Like, right? So, all sports is contagious. So when you talk about not doing it, hearing about it all the time, it sort of gets engraved in your head and continues. Now, I believe Nick's really good. I do. I'm like all in on Nick Sirianni. Like, I think he's extremely innovative. Right, when you look back at that Colts offense when Frank just went there and Nick was there, right? That offense was rocking and rolling. It really was for what they had. Okay, and then once he left, it looks like Frank isn't the smartest guy in the room. Now, I'm not saying Nick's the smartest guy in the room either. I'm just saying I think his offense is really innovative. I think he's smart. You see some of the play designs that get big chunk plays that we have the capabilities of doing. My question is, and what Sweep said, when I have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown out there, I don't know how I can't spin it all around the yard on people, because those guys, every time they do get the football, they look wide open. The two of them. I don't know if the two of them are ever catching balls with guys draped on them. Like, they have. But you know what I'm saying? But majority of the time, Devontae and AJ are running wide open on people because they're that good. My only critique, per se, of Jalen tonight, which is hard to do, again, another win, right? But the one blitz, you saw it coming. They were playing man. Nobody was over the top. And when it's hard because that blitz got in so fast, right? But I see it at home. Devontae's one-on-one, and it's not with Trayvon Diggs, okay? So he's one-on-one with whoever, okay? Knowing that, I throw a 50-50 ball. It's third down, right? Second down, I don't do it. Now, not a 50-50 ball where I gave a guy a chance to pick it. A ball that I'm throwing out to outside his right shoulder, down the sideline. You get it or nobody gets it. And when the blitz happened, they were even with each other. So if they're even with each other, I got to trust my guys a little quicker than who's covering him, and he's going to get it. Now, when the play developed and finished and he got sacked, Devontae's wide open down the field because he did beat him. Makes sense? He did beat him. So sometimes I just want to see that growth of trust from Jalen. I believe it will happen over time because all this kid's done is prove everybody to fuck wrong. So at some point, he's going to get better at stuff, right? And it might not happen right when we expect it to happen, but I do believe, because he has gotten better with a lot of stuff throwing the football this year, right? I do believe that he will get better handling blitzes, handling what he sees, and the trust, right? Because he has enough touch on the football to make that over-the-shoulder, lead your guy throw. And I think it's just him trusting it and him trusting what he's seeing. And I think every snap and every game, right? And this is a great defense too, right? So, being able to score in the red zone on this defense, even though our defense put us in good spots, you still got to finish, right? You still got to finish. And credit to them. I mean, what were they, 3 for 3 when they were in the red zone tonight?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's about doing what you do well. Really, at the end of the day, because don't be who you're not. Like, he's not going to stretch the field. Maybe he will grow. I mean, I know he's young, so he's a hard worker. So maybe he will, but he doesn't stretch the field. All right. I mean, so everything is
not at all right now.
They run the ball well, and they get some they get some crossers. They got AJ. They got AJ Brown, and he's got Devontae. He's got two guys that are playmakers. When you get the ball in their hands, but he doesn't stretch it. And maybe you'll say sweeps. Well, he hasn't had to. Well, that's a little bullshit.
We don't even take shots. We
Yeah,
don't even take shots.
The only thing I'll say to that is, and I don't disagree. It's just now NFL defenses aren't running this all the time, but like 98% of NFL defenses now are almost like umbrellas. Like, they want you to go 80. They want you to say, you know what, go on an 80 play drive and stick to your guns and run the football. Because I'm telling you, I was saying it tonight. In 2 or 3 years, the running back is going to be huge again in the NFL. Makes sense? Like, it goes through like waves. In 2 years from now, it's going to be huge again because people are going to start realizing, like, oh, teams are forcing us. Go ahead, run the football. Run the football. We're not going to give you the big play. Now, that doesn't mean that the big plays aren't there. We talked about one that could have been there on the blitz, right? So it's not that they're not there. It's that teams are really going to try to make you go 80 and stick to not making a mistake and not having a penalty, right? And then when you get inside the red zone, that's when teams want to win, right? We see it with Jonathan Gannon all too much. When he has the corners to press the whole country, you know what I mean? And when he does it, we're dominant. And when he doesn't, we're not, right? But that's what I don't like about the NFL and defensive coordinators now. It's almost they're all playing scared. Oh, don't beat me over the top. Don't beat me over the top. Don't beat me over the top. And they're sort of taking it away from quarterbacks. That being said, there is still plays out there, okay, the sweeps point, where he can stretch the field. There is. Now, and that's him. That's him just trusting and letting it go. I will say this, though. I'd much rather you, I guess, hold on to the football and not make a mistake and play another down, too, because that's what he seems like he's doing a lot of as well. Like, he's almost living for the next down, and part of it.
His progression, though, Tommy, is that.
Yes, you're right.
Is that though?
Is blitz pickup? Is blitz pickup? Because what blitz is. Sorry, what blitz
recognition. Yeah, recognition.
What blitzes come big plays.
Let it go.
Right, in my opinion, when blitzes come big plays.
That's when guys are 1-on-1.
Yeah, so that's what he's got to develop into, is reading that, and then you're going to be throwing balls when guys are even.
If they're even, they're leaving. Tommy, you know this. If
they're
even, they're leaving. You got to go. You just got to go.
Yep, that's the whole point, because you're never going to have a guy wide open in a blitz pickup most of the time, right? Because guys are going to be in your face quick. So that's all got to be trust. But I'll say it again. I believe this kid, because I can never doubt him no more, right? I believe he will get better with it. And if we keep winning damn football games, I'll take him any way you want to take him. I'll take him, and I know we talked about the boxes. I'll take not scoring a point in the second half and beating somebody by 3. I'll take it scoring 20 points in the second half and not scoring in the first half, or 26 in the second. I don't really care as long as you show the ability that you can score a lot of points in this league. You know, the only thing missing is playing 4 quarters of damn good football. All right, but if you look around the league, who is?
Well, I would say that
nobody.
That's the
nobody is.
Because obviously being 6-0 and the excitement and going back to the two, comparing them, even though it's only 6 weeks, comparing the 2017 is, that 2017, the difference in these two teams is 2017, they went out with second half adjustments. All right, their second half adjustments were incredible.
Yep.
In 20.
Andy's another guy with that, right? I mean, he lost to him, but Andy's another guy who was here.
You know what I mean? And we haven't seen that yet. And you say, well, they're still 6-0, and I say, yeah, you're right. But I'm just telling you, that's the difference in the two teams. All right, and the one got himself as a parade, and we'll see what we'll see if this see where this goes in the next 12 weeks. Yeah, brother. Sorry.
No, as you say, what's funny is when you look back, what did we complain about that team? The slow starts, right? We complained about the slow starts, but yet their second half adjustments what came out and like almost wiped them out, right? So it's kind of the ebbs and flows. Like, we have the great second quarters. Now we're complaining about the stagnant second halves versus slow starts. We don't score in the first quarter, and then we come out in the second half and play much better.
Hold on, two things. First off,
and I'm not.
Hold on a sec.
I would just say that we just alluded to that, Sticks. I mean, he doesn't have to do it. I'm just telling you, he doesn't.
You guys are missing it. This is what I said. Hold on. Wells, shut the fuck up. This is what I said. When I said, "Here's Dad," this is what I was talking about. I said, "Here's Dad." Yeah, I don't know if anybody picked up on it.
I'm with you.
Here comes Dad. He's in the house.
No, I'm shutting up. I'm with you.
Well, I'm just telling you. Bill, what do you want?
No, I mean, listen, there's always going to be opportunities to throw the ball down the field, though. I would just like to see him take more shots. That's all. That's all I'm at. And I'm not upset. That's like my only critique of Jalen. And I think he's been taking too many hits, but he didn't take that many hits tonight. So I'm not even going to give him shit for that. I like the fact that he didn't take that many hits tonight. So the only thing is just take a few more shots downfield. That's all. You got the guys. Just trust them.
I mean, I'm assuming Bill's talking about the chat. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I just said they don't stretch the field. I said you're 6-0. God bless you, and you're doing a great job. This is a good football team, right? Nobody's critiquing anything.
Yeah, we're on freight train.
Give me an example. Just watching the game. They're doing what they do well. That's exactly what I said. Right. So I think Bill might be talking about comments. I don't know. Who the hell knows?
But listen, I'll fast forward for you guys to the playoffs real quick and say that. Guess what? If you don't turn the football over and you play really good defense, you're going to be in every football game. So, I mean, that's the facts. Is there concerns that you probably want to play 4 quarters in the playoffs, right? Sure, of course, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to hit a big shot in the playoffs deep, right? Sure, of course, right there with everybody. But the good ones too are the ones that if you're turning the football over, you might as well just have an early exit too. So can you take care of it? Can you have some big chunk plays? Can you run the football? And the difference from this team from last year to this year is their defense is electric. I mean, their defense, when they actually get up and press, I mean, this is the best cornerback tandem we've had here, and going back to Lito and Sheldon. I mean, this is the best tandem we've had, and arguably one of the best tandems in football. I mean, that's how good these two are. They really are.
Bradbury's been great.
Yeah, they're aggressive guys.
I feel like last year our biggest downfall was the opposite side. Slay was great, but the other side we weren't great. Bradbury's been great.
Yeah, I feel like did he mail it in these last couple of years? Because I mean, he was sensational.
A couple of years ago, he was really good. Remember? Yeah,
sensational. And then I don't know if he became disgruntled. I know, Giants fan.
He was hurt.
Brad Ryer was laughing. Oh, good luck with Bradbury. Bradbury's been amazing. So.
I think it goes to play like how we looked at with Slay, right? If you don't have someone decent on the other side, you get picked on at times or you get exposed at times, right? We when we first had Slay, we didn't have anybody over there, and he wasn't as dynamic when he first got here as he is now. But now that Avante's grown into his own, and of course you had a guy like Bradbury, then yeah, they both look like they're absolute superstars, and they are.
Yeah, first year, a couple guys ate Slay's lunch for him, a couple games.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, for one, I remember well.
Right.
But hey, now Slay's been killing people now. People don't even catch ball against him.
He's got the LOL. He's laughing.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Asante was good, but not DRC.
And Namdi. Yeah, DRC stunk here. Nandi was atrocious, but
Namdi was. I do miss
Mr. Pick Six Asante though. That's he was always good for a couple pick sixes.
No, he was a ball.
Yeah, I don't think he made a tackle while he was.
No, might not have.
He had a few pick sixes, big picks, pick guy. He was always big pick guy.
He was a ball. Yeah, he's a ball.
Listen, I'm just happy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm in a great mood.
I've had enough failure as a Philly sports fan in my life, and that's why I said, like, when this team checked off every box but one. So, we can always look for a concern, and that's and to me, that's a fair gripe. Like, everybody talks about it. It's not like we just bring it up, right? It's a fair gripe. But and then again, not making an excuse. I look around the league and I see a lot of teams not playing 4 quarters. So I look at it as like, this whole league.
A lot of teams not playing good ball.
No, this whole league's a little weird. And throughout this whole league being a little weird, we're the one that are 6-0. We're the one that's arguably the best team in football. And I know how good Buffalo and Kansas City are. Not taking anything away from them because we're all right there together. in my opinion.
That's what
Hands down the best team in the NFC right now.
I was going to say. I was just going to say those three in a magical bowl of potion, and then you can take the other 20. You can take the other 27, or what is it, 27 or 28, and just throw them in a dumpster. Because really, is a 3-horse pony. Is a 3-horse pony. Right?
Yeah.
You watch. Don't tell me about parity.
We got to calm down.
I'm just saying. Don't tell me about parity. Don't tell me about parity. Pittsburgh Steelers stink. That's how bad the Bucks are. Don't tell me about parity.
6 weeks
right? That's how bad the Bucks stink. Right? Tommy made a bad decision. Not Tommy Arnone. Tommy Goat Boy. All right? Cost your marriage, cost your family to come back for this slop pone. All right? So guys can defend you and tell you don't have any weapons. Slop bone. All right? Slop bony. All right, the fucking league is garbage this year.
Don't have any weapons.
6 weeks in, you are who you are, and there's 3 teams in this league that are really good. Right, 3 weeks ago, the Dolphins were at the top of the power rankings.
Maybe Minnesota's pretty good.
Fucking nerds. Yeah,
no, Minnesota is pretty good. That's probably.
I was gonna say. I mean, we kind of overlooked Minnesota because we kind of gave it to them on Monday night, but they've been kind of giving it to everybody else.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But guess what? I mean, when I look
at them at the link, for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, your Red Rocket would be out, and you would be making plans for your, you'd be making Super Bowl plans.
I would love to see Kirk at any time. Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. Your Red Rocket.
I'm just saying, but maybe they're not that bad.
Yeah,
maybe they're pretty good.
I understand.
I think the difference, like that, for this football team is, our defense, and knowing I have a defense like this, there are 2 great football teams over in the AFC, Kansas City and Buffalo. But if you ask me right now, I ain't worried about playing them. I think I can beat them. I know what I'm in for. I know what I'm in for sure. But I feel like I'm just as good as they are. And we've been talking about that for the last few weeks, that we're all right there together. They're the 3 teams. So
I just feel like if we're healthy, we got a really good defense, and we can run the ball on both of them.
Yeah, true.
Will we do that? Will we stick to our guns and just run the ball?
The funny thing about those, if you look about all 3 teams, I mean, what are they all? The all similarity they have with the quarterback is it's why all 3 are similar, right? Hear me out on this. Is they all can move around and make plays, and when things break down, those guys make plays. All 3 of them do. Even Jalen, not to the level those guys do. Those guys got a little more season, right? But those guys, when things break down, make big time plays. And that's the difference. That's why these are the upper echelon teams. I mean, they're upper echelon because their 2 quarterbacks on those 2 teams are elite, right? The best of the best. But they move and they shake so well. Patty has a game you like to have back.
Leslie Frazier had a great game plan today. I think second quarter on, maybe started spying them. Really worked because Mahomes was killing them early.
Yeah. Adjustments.
Frazier had to make up for that playoff game and just let him walk down the field.
Jonathan,
right before half, they walked down the field again 12 seconds. How did they get a field goal in 12 seconds?
No, what they've done, I don't answer Jonathan's question. I would say no, but what they've done the last 2 weeks is very impressive. I mean,
and listen, they definitely have a good team.
One was in London, who are the Packers? I don't know that, you know what I mean? But you can say the same thing for the Giants. So that's they were 10-point underdogs. So that's a good week, good win last week, excuse me, and another good win today. So I don't know. They're probably not scaring anybody, but this is become a you can just actually just play an audio for me every week because I'm just gonna I'll just keep saying it. I mean, Brian Dable's an absolute stud. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you got good coaching and you change the culture. People buy in, just like they did here in Philadelphia. All right, these guys love Sirianni. He's over there yelling "fuck you" to somebody. I don't know who it was. If I'm
I like it.
McCarthy's a clown and he's not gonna do it. But if I go in the handshake, I go, hey, who are you talking to? You talking to the guy who tackled him? I just want to know who you're talking to. That's all. I mean, I love it. Love the passion. I mean, where's that directed? Is it directed to Jerry? Where's it at? Love it, though. Even Fletcher walked over and said, I love you, bro. Relax. You're not beating anybody up. Calm down.
I got your back, though, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the difference. And with Brian Dable, like I was saying earlier, too, when I was talking to my dad about this, I said, listen, it's great. And great coaching like Sweep said, changes the culture, right? Now it's going to become, they're going to hit a wall this year, which is fine because players play, right? And I don't know what that wall But next year, when they start adding talent to that roster, and you have a coach who's a game changer, they're going to be trouble. They're going to be trouble because they found their guy, right? I mean, I think if you look down the road, because of what I think he's going to build there, it's in the next 2 years, everything changes in this league. But as of right now, we'd probably be the two best teams. Because
I think he's doing
Terry's not going to be around forever.
Yeah, he's going to have to get his guy because, like to Tommy's point, 5-1, Dimes isn't good enough. All right, so that's where the head will fall off. That's when the wheels fall off.
Been better though. Been better. I'll give it.
They
compete. They compete, and that's what good coaching does. They compete. They're tough, and they play for this guy. So they're staying in games.
Really good defense, right?
In games, the defense is keeping them in games. Defense is keeping them in games, and then they're finding a way to win late. All right, these last 2 weeks.
They somehow, I don't know how, but their defense, which last year did not stop the run, has really stopped the run. They're like third in the NFL on stopping the run. They've really stopped the run, which is very impressive.
When you had a top 5 DN, in the draft, and he's that guy, right? It's not like he's a must.
He's playing well.
He's playing really well.
Yes, he is.
And they've always had pieces on their defense.
Arguably the most talented defensive player in the draft.
Yeah,
arguably.
They've always had pieces, but they were never able to play as a group.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to play as a group.
It depends on how far they.
That's who we're talking about, Marshall.
Depending how far this goes, then they'll drop. If they continue this thing, it's not gonna make any noise per se. But it depends, how long this winning, goes on for them, then it costs them, a draft spot. So then you're going to have to spend money to get your guy, or you're going to have to trade up, and then it's going to cost you assets. You know what I mean? Because obviously, Dable, the wheels are in motion. You know what I mean? He's got to find, he's going to have to find his, he's going to have to find his guy. He's, and to Tommy's point, I mean, Dimes has been better, but we all know he's just not.
Well, how about that though, right? Isn't it to show you what coaching does for even quarterbacks, like young ones? I mean, that guy's been so unsuccessful, it's not even funny. And he gets like an offensive guy in there, and he's, like I said, he's gotten better. He still stinks. He's still not good enough. That's why they don't scare me. But he'll get his guy at some point, and when he does, and he's able to develop him, we'll see where it goes from there.
And Saquon's healthy, and he's been phenomenal. So I mean,
it's funny we talk about what our quarterback, but you're right. He hasn't been great, but they're winning games, right? So if he doesn't get that high, to your point, Sweeps, if he doesn't get up there in the draft, like, what's a 1-year contract cost for him? You know what I mean? Like, he's probably not going to break the bank just to bring him back because he's a guy that's going to win games in your system until you get your guy. Or maybe, like we're seeing with Jalen, the progression that we're seeing with Jalen in year 2 with the same offense, right? Maybe he takes a similar step next year.
No, you're right, because he's always been a shirt and T-shirt guy. I mean, shirt and short T-shirt. The big arm, the athleticism. Dimes' thing was taking the heat. The game was too fast for him, and the turnovers were outrageous. All right, you can't do that. If you want to play quarterback in the NFL. So when if you mature and you have a coach that's and you finally buy into a good offensive mind, and he tells you, hey, like today, third down, he took a sack. Like third and goal, he took a bad. I thought it was a bad sack. I thought he held on to the ball too long, but he didn't fumble. They got 3 out of it, and then they wound up. He didn't leave points on the board. These last couple years with all the turnovers, they left points on. They left points on the field, man, and. That's a killer in this league. We know that. You know what I mean? Like you just can't do that.
Yeah, it's how you lose.
Yep.
Nice. Ask the Cardinals. They've been doing a lot of it.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that game. I can't believe they just got trounced by the Seahawks.
Well, they didn't really get trounced. They just kept turning the ball over.
I mean, I'm not saying the Cardinals are good, but you should have beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, if you want to be
not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Gino's played pretty well. Gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
Veteran. He's
haven't written back yet.
Yeah. Yeah, he ain't writing back.
He ain't writing back.
Don. I mean, a little bit.
Thanks for the anal raping, buddy. Appreciate you.
Don.
Well, he's a Stater, isn't he? A Stater, or is he a Michigan guy? I forget.
No, he's got to be a Michigan.
Look at Jimmy.
He's got Harbaugh on the.
No, I know. I just didn't know if that was a troll job.
Yeah.
I mean,
thanks, Don. I appreciate you. Take it easy on us.
Don knows what he's doing. Don knows what he's doing.
I mean, that's probably all he can hang his hat on at this moment. Because
pretty much.
Because Hard Knocks is going, whoa, heyo.
They come out of the bye. Hopefully, we get DeAndre Swift back. My fantasy team can get back rolling.
The Lions stink.
Yeah, I'm just looking for DeAndre Swift to get rolling again. That's all.
I mean, he might play well. They have a decent O-line. Their defense is.
Don,
laugh out loud bad.
To your question, not really because of the bye week. I think
I think the bye week will be okay. Sorry, Tom, but yeah. Lanes didn't look. I mean, they called it a concussion, but he didn't even get into the tent, right? So, was that like something that was called down from above?
Maybe. Who knows?
But he seemed fine. He walked off fine. Like I would expect him to be fine in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You never know, but I would expect.
No, you're right. I'm sure it came from it probably came from somewhere because Tua is still walking around the streets of South Beach. You know what I mean? So
in a bubble suit.
Yeah, it definitely came from upstairs.
He's back next week, Sweeps.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. Tua's back.
I'll make sure to have a party.
Tua's back. I mean, he can't play worse than Teddy Six Gloves has played.
That's exactly right, brother.
Then again, it's how long is till he's on the field throwing up gang signs again.
And it was, and that was the number one thing. I mean, like you said, not just when the microphone was pushed in my face. That I'll repeat it. The number one thing wasn't just about being talented. I mean, we knew he had a little bit in him. Plus, he had a little moxie in him. He was a tough kid. But my number one concern was the injuries, and it's reared its ugly head.
Yeah. They're piling up.
Yeah. I mean, he came in the league with Gorilla Glue. He came in the league with Gorilla Tape. You know what I mean? Like it's around his hips, around his knees, and now his poor head is
now he's got bolts in his ears.
Yeah. He's a Hawaiian Frankenstein. I mean, that's crazy. It's nuts.
That's great.
Yeah, well. Hope he's all right though. I mean, all joking aside.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they cleared him, he's good.
Yeah,
it's pretty scary though.
Yeah, Umberto, I thought we took it to him late. Obviously, really, imposed our will on him a little bit. We talked about it earlier on. Like, if you want to sort of eliminate Micah Parsons, which is hard to do because he's a stud, but you almost want to take the attack to him a little bit. And when they did do it, they did do it in the fourth quarter a little bit, and they had a big run by Miles that was a first down, and I think they had another like good 5-6 yard gain in there, and they started to take it his way a little bit. I'm not saying that's always going to work because he's a problem, right? But you got to start dictating to him a little bit. You can't let your guys, especially when Jake Driscoll comes in the game, and that's even more of a reason to get downhill a little bit, right? Because obviously he was beating them. He was beating around the edge all day. I mean, that's how special he is. Nothing against Jake. I mean, Jake looked like he had a terrible night, but you're getting thrown in the fire in a game you're not even playing in, and that's who you got to go see. And Dan Quinn usually moves them all around. He didn't move them around anymore.
You're sticking there.
He got them right there. Go get that guy. And
then
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's what's so frustrating. Like when we're sitting here watching the game, because you're right. You bring in Driscoll, you bring in Opeta, and yet you're still dropping back. And like, let's push forward. Let's run the football a little bit. Let's get Driscoll, let's get his feet wet instead of first pass. Hey, I got the, quite possibly the NFL Defensive Player of the Year through 6 games coming right at me for 3 straight downs. No, let's run the football. Let's get Driscoll attacking.
Yep. Because then got a little hit on the ribs.
He's the Defensive Player of the Year.
Then every once in a while, he still has those. As great as he is, he still reverts back to maybe some of those issues that were on draft day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just, I'm not reverting back. I'm just saying, like, the immaturity, and God knows what else that they had on the draft report. And we all knew he was talented. I have no idea why he dropped. I'm just saying, he should have had a pick 6. And then he's wolfing and he gets a personal foul when it should have been 3rd down. You know what I mean? That's the immaturity right there. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You get caught up in the moment. It's Eagles, Cowboys, but you're the leader of that defense. You got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, there's no reason to be jawing off to Dallas Goedert.
Yeah,
we all know that he can't take a punch.
Yeah, I almost didn't want that. I almost didn't want that flag. You know.
Thanks, Greg.
Once a week that comes up, and I love it. I wait for that time in the show every week where that comes up.
Movie date.
Would have liked the block in the back call though. That would have been nice.
That was brutal. I'll tell you what. I mean, I know they came back in the game and everything, but that was brutal. What are we picking that flag up for? That is textbook.
Well, and the thing is, if it's one guy, that's fine. When five guys talk about it, there's no way you can miss it, right? Because he can stand there and it can be a pick. But once his hands extend, it's a no-brainer. Come on. I mean, like, you had to see that. Somebody initially threw it. So then when they talked about it, what did the guy that threw it say? What you guys got? I had his hands extended. Somebody said, no, his hands weren't extended. Like, well, I'd love to be in that huddle.
Yeah. Like, who talked him out of it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, I thought the game went kind of how I expected it to. Didn't like how they ran on us. And again, I thought that we took Jordan Davis out, we couldn't tackle
Zeke at all.
We took Jordan Davis out, which was weird. We tackled him very well in the first half.
Yeah.
Third quarter, we couldn't tackle him.
And you can see
strange.
You see how good Tommy alluded to the DBs, the Eagles DBs are special. I mean, and all four of those guys are really special. And you saw when Gardner went out, like, Kayvon Wallace is a backup in this league. He's a special team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's an atrocious angle. You're not even in the ballpark, buddy.
No.
The NFL, man. Like, Zeke shouldn't be running away from anybody. You know what I mean? Like, he's eating porridge, man. Like, you might not be able to bring him down because he's a big boy and he smelled the end zone. But like, he went left, he cut on you, and then he just outran you. Like, you just fell down. Like, it was wow.
It was. That's why that guy doesn't start.
Yep, not good for him there, buddy.
Hey, not Clemson anymore, is it? Not chasing a Syracuse guy, are you?
Yeah, that.
Even though we are 6-0.
The Brian Dawkins comparison went away quickly.
Guess that's not B-Dog.
No.
But like I think someone was bringing up earlier, and obviously CJ had a great game. Left the game, came back in the game, got a second pick. I mean, great game.
Yeah. Funny listening to obviously with Michelle with Melissa Stark after the game. She was like, "Yeah, how's the hand?" He goes, "Feels better after a win."
Yeah.
Which of course it's going to.
I mean, everything does. I mean,
yeah.
Beer tastes better. Food tastes better. I mean, it just, it's what life's all about.
I thought you were going to add one more to that.
Winners win.
Yeah, he wouldn't give a clear answer in his post-game presser about his hand. He said,
what happened?
He said, "I'm good. I'm a warrior."
I figured it was his shoulder, not his hand. You know what I mean?
Ended up being his hand.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I wonder if it got stepped on in the pile.
He was running off like he was hunched over, like it might have been a collarbone type.
No,
that's
Greg,
what I kind of thought. Yeah.
Tried ripping the ball out, and then it looked like he grabbed his shoulder.
Yeah,
it popped out, and then it ended up being his hand that he hurt, and he got taped up and came back in, and he was saying that I'm good, I'm a warrior. This is football. That's all he kept saying, and I sort of loved it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good answer.
Yeah, and
love that answer.
He's like, I'll be good. Bye week isn't a vacation, he said. Bye week isn't a vacation. Bye week to get your body right, your mind right, and become a better football player. And I'm like, my God, I almost just like if I was Howie,
did they hand him a talking card before that?
We always talk, and it starts at the top. You know what I mean? So for years, we crushed the gimp when it was needed. But Howie Hero is back. I mean, is
he back?
Every button he's pushed. I mean, he's the Joe Torre of football right now.
It is crazy.
We went from
the timeline that Howie's had here is fucking
Saints
crazy.
Saints were like, we don't need him. Yeah, we got a pretty good defense. We don't need him.
Well, the best thing about it is we went from like this offseason before the Bradbury signing made me like after the draft, we were like, well, we're in a tough spot in our secondary here. You know, we got two, maybe even three before apps showed he can play. Right? We were like, man, we got at least two like glaring holes.
Yeah, I like Omar. He's
like
not
who
bad.
are our safeties? Who's our other corner? Right? Zeke McPherson. And for how do we go get Bradbury and then make the Chauncey Gardner trade? And this secondary go from being an unknown to arguably one of the best in the league. You know, we knew we had Avante here still in the slot, but you know, when you add those guys and you have a slot corner who can play at the level he can play at, and then you got a pass rush that can go get you. I mean, that's scary. What he's done here is truly remarkable. If you think about, like Will said, you know, his tenure here, it's insane. It's insane, the ebb and flow and then the misses and then the hits.
Yeah, I was about to say that includes the misses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's figuring him.
He was locked in a closet for 3 years while Chip was here for 2 years.
He was a gimp. It was a gimp.
He came back out of it. It was like that. It was like, have you ever seen?
They filmed Pulp Fiction too. They filmed Pulp Fiction.
He got me before I get it out. Have you ever seen Pulp Fiction when they're down in the basement? That guy that's chained up, that was Hal, and now he's out. He's off the chains. He's back running the show.
Pulp Fiction too, baby. That's great.
Unreal. What a turn for Howie. Seriously.
Zed's dead. Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's dead. That's right. Chip's dead, baby. Chip's dead. That's what they said when he got out. Chip's dead, baby. Chip's dead.
Yeah, but after Chauncey Gardner talked, if I was Howie, I would have slid the contract right across the table.
Yeah. Let's make this official. Let's make it official now.
That is
the press is here.
My kind of talk.
Yep.
Big fan of that kind of talk.
We got all our beat writers here for how it feels to be an Eagle long term. So why don't we just slide this across?
We'll do the press conference right here. We'll just continue it. Let's go. Don't have to call anybody in tomorrow or on the bye week. We'll just do it right here.
Yeah, and Ted, we were defending a guy like Tart because we didn't know why they were releasing him. We were like, "What are we doing here?" Right when the Eagles released him, but guess what? He had an ace up the sleeve, and he used it, and boom, here we are. And that guy, the last 2 weeks, a big part of why we're winning football games. I mean, he has 3 interceptions in 2 weeks. So, I mean, that's game changer stuff.
Oh yeah,
he's one of the guys that doesn't miss open field tackles because there's a lot of that going on. But he's one of them guys that doesn't mind getting his beak wet either. I think that's why he converts to safety well too, in my opinion, because he's not scared to get his beak wet. And guess what? We have things to clean up, but let's do our players of the game, and that's brought to you by FanUp. And FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D, and you get $50 to sign up. FanUp, download them right on the Apple Store. Players of the game, boys.
I'm going to go A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown offensively for me, and we were just talking about him. C.J. G.J. defensively. 2 big picks, even leaving the game for a little bit just to get a little tape job.
Yep. Definitely Gardner and probably Miles Sanders. Yeah. Ran hard again.
Yeah, he did run hard. Give him credit when he does, for sure.
Yeah.
And he held on to the football, too, because they were looking to strip.
They were ripping. They were ripping for sure.
Ripping and tugging. He did a great job. Everybody only knocks on the guy ever was put your foot in the fucking ground, right? Stay on the football field because, the best ability is availability.
And hang on to it.
And hang on to the damn ball. And you got all the talent in the world, dude. Ain't nobody going to question what you can do. And even though he only averaged like 3.5 yards a carry.
3 solid gripes out of you, I would say.
Yeah.
3 solid gripes. Put your foot in the ground, hold on to the fucking ball, stay on the fucking field. 3 solid gripes.
But I'm the problem.
I don't know why you got so upset. 3 solid gripes.
Probably the same gripes Zeus had with you, too, when he was here. That's why I used to yell at you on the sidelines all the time. So I'm not here to break your balls. I'm here to win football games. But never played, so opinion doesn't matter. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I'll echo the Miles, and I'll go Darius on the defensive side.
Another one, man. You could go Bradbury there too. You want to really
dap? It could go the whole secondary if you want.
Go whole secondary. Who'd you say offensively?
I went with Miles.
All right, I'll just switch it up. I'll go. Listen, you know what? Ain't nobody's doing it, so I'll do it. I'll go with the quarterback. Right? I mean, we talked about this week. I was thinking about Devontae, because I felt like he was open a lot, even though he only had 5 catches, but he had the TD.
Five for the tutty.
Yeah.
That's
But
what AJ had too.
I'll go quarterback, and the reason I'll go with him is, we talked about this week. You can't turn the football over against Dallas. If you want to beat them, especially with a backup quarterback, don't let them do what they've been doing in their 4 wins, which is taking the damn football away from everybody at a big time rate. So you can't allow it to happen. And for you to come in, okay, and not do that, and then throw 2 touchdowns too, because you weren't throwing enough touchdowns to people in the media, right? The media was like, all these rushing touchdowns. They only threw 4 touchdown passes this year, right? In 5 games. That's alarming. Right. Well, now he's got 6 and 6. Okay. So, and he threw two TDs. So I don't care how you're scoring.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know why.
I don't care, but people are always looking for something, right? They always want to lift up every rock on you. But today, threw 2 touchdowns, 3 for 3 in the red zone as a quarterback in his offense. And again, the big thing, no turnovers. And defensively, you guys mentioned them all. I mean, this whole secondary was phenomenal tonight. And the biggest problem is, like some people said in the chat, like, Jordan Davis needs more snaps, especially when you're going against a run heavy team like this.
Absolutely.
It's sort of weird to me.
They couldn't run in the first half when Davis was in the game. He was clogging the middle up. They could not run the ball.
It's almost like, you not want him to be this good.
Are you trying to stunt him?
I understand that we have a rotation. I understand that we have very good players on the line, but when they're running, when they're gashing, he's got to be in. He has to be in.
Also the defense I thought flashed as well. I thought Kazir White flashed a lot today.
Yeah, he made a lot of
he was there.
Field tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was all over the football field. Oh, sorry, I was reading that. Oh. Umberto, the MVP through 6 weeks is Josh Allen. It's not Jalen, even though Jalen's played well. It's not Jalen. Much as I love my own guys, that dude's something else. So
yeah, he's pretty good.
That dude can throw it through 50 miles an hour and the ball won't move. You know what I mean? The ball's gonna go where he wants it to. He's a perfect fit for a Buffalo outside quarterback in the wintertime. He's just a perfect fit. He throw right through a freaking tornado. You know what I mean? That ball just go right out, didn't even move through the tornado. How did it do that?
Yeah, and they're 5-1 too. If they were 2-4, then you'd be like, you give them nod to Jalen, who's undefeated. But
and then
they're 5-1. It's I agree. It's Josh Allen.
Yeah, 5-1, and they won at KC.
Yeah, the big bad wolf.
Yeah, and that's a game like today they were talking about. That's a game with probably 2 best quarterbacks in the league playing against each other. Kind of a little rivalry going between them now. And one was drafted 10th, one 7th. It's like a lot of teams missed on both those guys.
Yeah, and they played
those guys. They should have went 1 in both drafts, obviously.
Yeah, and they will obviously see each other again, and
that's probably going to end up being a thing like every year now. They're going to try to have that game every year, like they used to do with Peyton and
Tom.
Yeah,
I was just going to say for sure they said next year in KC again because the East plays the West, so it's for sure one more. But yeah, you're definitely right. It'll be on the schedule. It's got to swing its way back to Buffalo, which probably like I said, see if they get home field advantage. They'll have to go through Buffalo.
Yeah. I know it's football. And it's meant to be played in the cold. You know what I mean? But I'm almost a believer that, you get the elements they get there. Have a retractable roof. You know what I mean? Sometimes mixing the retractable roof.
That Monday night game against the Patriots wasn't fun. No,
it can't be fun for anybody's body. That can't be good for anybody's body. That can't be a fun game to say excited to play tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm texting my family member saying I want no parts of tonight. No -15 or whatever. I want no part.
Even the Bears-Niners game to start the year off, in the torrential downpour rain. What are we doing here?
Listen, I can deal with that, but to Tommy's point, we've all played. We've all played before, at some level. When the ground is frozen, it's just no fun. I mean, tackling somebody or getting tackled, it's frozen. It's like being driven through concrete. It's just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, Don, I wouldn't go out and say I'm a Bama guy. Like that's my team. You know, I don't really have a college football team. I say I watch a lot of SEC more than
SEC.
others.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
I wouldn't. I don't got to roll.
Yeah, he's just now a Tennessee guy now. That's how that works.
No. You know?
He just goes to whatever best SEC team's going on at that time.
No, I just look there for the draft.
It's like a revolving clock.
No,
That's why he wins the title every year. He just goes to whatever best SEC team. SEC wins the fucking title. He's like UCF.
Okay. Tom's thinking deeper. Tom's looking for talent. Tom's trying to help Howie. Okay? That's all Tom's doing. That's all I'm
trying to keep Howie out of the closet. That's all we don't need. We don't need him back on the chains. That's all. We don't need him back.
That's it. I mean, he drafted the biggest cog in that you could find in college football. You know, a guy you can't even run the football against him in college. You know, there's a reason Georgia was pretty good defensively. He's a big part of that. And this guy can't get on the field against a team that's going to run the football.
That's what they do.
See, I don't know who makes those decisions.
I felt like he was on the field a good amount in the beginning of the game. The second half, he won.
No. Speaking of Tennessee, my dad's going to be.
I think at the end of the day, it's got to fall at the defensive coordinator. But we saw that with Deuce, with the running back rotation when he was here. Like that was his thing. Like Doug even said it. You know what I mean? So, I'm wondering if the D line guy
and Chip said it too back then.
The D line guy saying, "Hey, listen, these are our guys right now. You know what I mean? We know he's very talented and he's a mountain of a man and he's he's as big as some states, you know what I mean? But, we got some other guys that can play too.
That's a
It's
fact.
almost like when we take the lead, he just runs Hargrave and Fletch, and like the guys that are more getting after the QB guys. But it's like, hey, dude, it's the third quarter and they're still running the ball fucking 4 out of 5 plays. Might want to get that guy back in there.
Yeah. I mean, with Cooper Rush, they weren't going to totally abandon the run. They couldn't.
Yeah, they couldn't. They wouldn't have won the game.
I mean,
Not to mention our secondary, kind of good. If you want to try to beat us, you got to run the ball.
Yeah. And I get it. You have two high-priced defensive tackles ahead of him. So, I mean, I get those guys getting snaps, and maybe as a D-line coach, you're more inclined to run those guys out there more. And then you obviously have to, Milton Williams gets snaps. You want to get him snaps. So I get it. Like, you have 4 guys you're trying to get snaps to. But I'm also trying to win football games too. I'm not trying to do anybody favors. We talked about it, like when you talk about moving guys in the lineup or different things like that. Like I'm not here to, even though I'm just a D-line coach, well, that's my job if that's the case. If he's the one calling the shots per se, I know you're low on the totem pole in terms of coaching there, right? But it doesn't matter. You're trying to win football games. So if Fletcher has a problem with a couple less snaps per se, fine. But Javon Hargrave hasn't been great. So there's no reason Javon Hargrave has to play. Almost every snap. I love to know his.
Yeah, I would say he's just been all right.
Yeah, and especially
he made a one play today where he batted that one ball down, but that's all you really saw of him today.
3 out of the 4 majors.
Kind of a big play because that guy was open for.
At that point, yes.
Yeah, and three out of the 4 majors have a horn that sounds. You know what I mean? Like baseball's the only one where if you got to make a move, then that guy's out of the game. You know what I mean? Like the other 3 sports that you can hey. It's a line change. It's
send them back in.
It's free. Subbies are free, man. Let's go. Yeah. Free subbies.
Exactly. Hey, guess what? If they take a guy off, they actually have to stop the game for you to take a guy off. They'll actually let you.
You know what I mean? So it's not like you take out Fletch, you lose them. You know what I mean? Like baseball is the only sport where that happens. The other ones are like, hey, let's find the right matchup. Let's play the hot hand. Let's play the situation. That's
the key. That's the key, Sweeps. That's the key. The situation. The situation dictates that he be in the fucking game. That's the key.
Yep.
Umberto, I have zero concern about his conditioning. He's fine. It's just it has to do more with just the trust of the D-line coach or the D-line just to have those veterans there. I have zero concern about his conditioning.
Yeah, I think it's more of a rotation thing, and like Tommy said, maybe these guys make a lot more money, and they feel obliged to have him in more. But at me at this point, you also drafted that guy in the first round.
Umberto, this isn't about you. This is in general because all the beat reporters bring this shit up all the time. Like, have you seen that guy? Does he look unconditioned to you? I saw him walk back in the locker room a couple minutes ago because the post-game things just keeps going on my TV here. Does that man look unconditioned? You see his triceps? That guy, that ain't a fat man walking around. That's a monster of a man walking around. I have no questions about his conditioning. Maybe at times he looked like he a little tired of Georgia.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy. He might be a little tired.
But he also played a ton of snaps.
I was gonna say he played way more snaps at Georgia than he's played so far here.
Way more. Yeah, I would venture to guess he played 85% of the snaps at Georgia. I would venture to guess.
Yeah, I would say at least 75.
Yeah, and I'll go to that number too. Like I don't think that's a bad number either. That's a lot of snaps. Like people told me he couldn't rush the passer. Dude, when you're that big and you can push everybody back, you absolutely can rush the passer. I said it on Wednesday night. Howie Roseman's one step ahead right now, in my opinion, as a general manager of the way the NFL's going. We talked about that it's going to become a little bit of a running back league soon. You'll see it, an emphasis on it because of the way teams are playing defense. So if you can go draft a guy that can clog up the room, right? Now you're making teams one-dimensional because you cannot run on this defense when he's in a football game. It's that simple. And the proof is there. And if it's 17 snaps, if it's 15 snaps, if it's 5 snaps, if it's 30 snaps, the proof is in the pudding when it comes to Jordan Davis. You do not run the football. And if you want to bounce in today's NFL, that ain't smart. The way linebackers can go sideline to sideline and the way DNs can run. So those days of bouncing are harder too. So it's a day of put your foot in the ground, get upfield. That's what it's a day of, right? You want to find that hole in there and get going, get to the second level, right? That's the goal. With him in there, it's hard to get to the goddamn second level.
Yep. Yep. And if you bounce, you better be able to break a tackle because somebody's going to be there.
Oh,
the
yeah,
absolutely. The only time those guys break runs is when they bounce and break a tackle.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, maybe 2.
To your point, Wes, you're right. But listen, this football team, I agree with Crumb. This team's resilient. He said they have ugly moments, but they're locking and rising to the occasion when it's necessary. And I got to agree with that.
Yeah, and we're human. I mean, there's always the feeling of when you're up big where you're like you kind of coast a little bit. I mean, it's human. It's human nature. It's part of it. But you got to. That's what coaching is for. That's what staying locked in is about. And I just would like to see more of it in the second half. That's my only gripe for the team. Besides that, we're a fucking freight train. I've already said it multiple times. Like we are a freight train right now, and ain't nobody want to get in our way.
No, and guess what? I'd rather win
excited like, oh, can't wait to play the Eagles. No.
Listen, I'd rather win ugly to beat the Chargers and lose pretty. You know what I mean? Chargers to me lose pretty all the time.
At least we can say we made a good coaching hire because guess what? Nick's a good coach, and there's a lot of guys around the league that aren't.
Listen, I'll say it again.
Chargers.
Chargers, now known as the LA Chargers, always lose pretty. That's all they do. I'll take the team that wins ugly all day because that team has more toughness. That team has more mocks to them. All right, so I mean, there's no like you're not going to be 6-0 and then blow everybody out. Like I feel like our statement game was that Minnesota game. To be honest with everybody, people are saying like tonight's not a statement game for me, and not with that super rush. My statement game beating Minnesota. That's a statement win because they're good. They're very good. They're well coached, and they got weapons. And we shut that down. We shut that shit down. All right, and that's in warm weather. That's warm weather Philly for you. That ain't cold.
Right, it's not playoff time.
No, and I don't hear anybody say like, listen, I know Jalen's been better. Jalen's been better from the pocket. And if this team wants to go where they want to go to, it's bigger than just Jalen. This offensive line's got to be healthy. Lane Johnson has to be healthy because he blocks the sun out. I mean, there ain't a better right tackle, maybe even tackle in football. I mean, arguably he is the best tackle in football. He hasn't given up a sack in 2 years. I mean, that's the best tackle in football. And he sees a lot of damn good ends coming at him, and then not even give up one. That's tremendous. So, to me, we talked about it when Carson's rookie year when Lane went out. They were 4-1, remember? Or 3-1, playing really good football. He goes out, they stunk. They stunk.
You look at our record just in total. You're absolutely right. Our record in total without Lane Johnson is abysmal.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I always go back to.
Imagine one guy mattering that much, and he does. Isn't that crazy, guys?
Yeah.
And I always go back to.
That's what I always talk about. You win in the trenches. You win on the lines. It's the reason that New England's still pretty good. You know why? Their lines are pretty fucking good. You win on the lines.
Yeah. No, and I go back to what to what Will said about nobody wanted to play. Nobody wants to. Nobody's lining up to play the Eagles, and that's huge. I mean, that's a culture thing. That's not only are you a good football team, that's a culture thing. That's a toughness thing. You know what I mean? That's doesn't always equate to hey, you're going to win every game, but that's something that you want in people's minds. That's as Greg's not a part of this, but as three green waivers, that's what happened when people got off the bus at Edgewood Avenue. They knew it. They got off the bus. They knew it. All right. They didn't know they didn't necessarily say, hey, they didn't think they were going to lose. They didn't think not saying they didn't think they were going to lose. All right. They got off the bus at Edgewood Avenue. They knew they were going to get punched in the face. All right. They knew they were going to get punched in the face on the diamond.
Yeah. I was going to say baseball field.
Yeah, football field, they did the punching. But when springtime came back, baby, we got them back. But no,
the other thing with this team too is they play for each other. It seems like, right? There's so many times where we ask teams to play for each other. Gardner Johnson said it in the presser too. Who cares what the offense does? Defense's job is to back them up. Like, we got their backs. Like, you hear that, but then you see it on the field. Right, you see Fletcher behind Nick Sirianni going, "Yo, come on, calm down. Who you yelling F you to? Calm down. I got your back though." Right, you know what I mean? But you see that transpire on the field, and those types of teams, like you look across the street with the Phillies, right? Those types of teams do really well at the end of the season too, because they're playing for each other.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
No, it absolutely is a culture thing, and and it's about respecting but loving the guy you're playing for, not only as a coach but as the guys around you. And if you build it as a coach and you build that camaraderie, and especially in professional sports when these guys spend a lot of time with each other, it's a lot easier to build a culture that way when you spend a lot of time with each other. And he's done a tremendous job of that. We all thought he was quirky and weird at the beginning, but guess what? Behind closed doors, those guys bought into every little thing he was saying to them. And not only that, his general manager backed his ass up, backed the hire up. I mean, that was their hire. They went out on a limb, but credit to them. Not only did they back their quarterback up with weapons, they backed their coach up with weapons on both sides of the football. And that makes life easier for you as a coach, but you still got to get to 6-0. You still got to win a lot of goddamn football games since you became the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he's 7 games over 500.
Yeah.
Not including the playoffs.
There's a lot of teams with talent out there that don't have good records.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when it's we, not me, man. This is the results you get. This is the kind of the culture you build. You know what I mean? You don't see, winning teams. It doesn't happen. What happened in Carolina today? You know what I mean? Robbie Anderson. It's disgraceful. Doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen on good football teams. All right, because they got leaders, not only at the top, they got veteran players. You know what I mean? Like, when you're a team that's not winning and you're going through an interim coach and all that other stuff, all that discombobulation, and then nobody steps up and nobody grabs the dude. You know what I mean? Like, if that happens, if that happens on the Eagles, it's not even getting to the coach because there's a veteran player grabbing the guy by the neck. And
what is it about, Sweeps? It's about drafting character guys. It's about signing character guys, right? And to your point, I know that's where it starts with Howie, and this organization, because they've always valued themselves on that. Did they always hit the character guy? No, right? Did they reach some time for a character guy? Yeah, right? But more times than not, it seems like they do a good job not only in free agency, right, looking for those types of guys, but in the draft. We're not talking about guys with no talent. We're talking guys that have played a lot of winning football recently that they influxed in here. And when your quarterback's a coach's kid, like he is, and he's got a lot of coach speak to him and just care, it starts there too, right? Where like he's almost a coach playing quarterback in a way. This is his speak. Like, he could be an NFL coach down the road because of his speak and because of the next play and because of all the little things he says in his presser, which he means too. It's not just him doing it and saying it to look good, right? He does it because he cares about getting better. And when guys look at that guy, right, to me, that just brings everybody together. Like the quarterback's got to bring everybody together. Both sides of the football, like Greg said, got to want to play for each other, right? But it starts with that guy. Do you believe in that guy? Because one, if you have doubts about that guy, you don't win football games either, right? And then when you go sign like his best friend, and A.J. Brown, and you bring in a guy that believes in him too, you draft a guy like Devontae who played with him. So you're going to get guys around him that believe in him too. I mean, it all trickles through. So now you bring in friends with friends, and I'm not saying it's kumbaya. It's got to be all perfect because, listen,
kumbaya.
No, but in pro sports, though, you're going to have some battles and you're going to have some disagreements for sure, right? But at the end of the day,
like you said, it's that was a good point you had about the Howie thing with the vetting. You know what I mean? Like, because not to circle back to it, but Robbie Anderson was a name here a year or two ago. Like, when the Eagles had nobody at the wide receiver core that either people were clamoring for or saying, hey, there's an interesting name. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he came across his desk and he was like, yeah, I'm good. No, yeah, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, like,
I'm pointing
he's always
fingers.
been talented. Always been talented. But they know in that inner circle of the NFL, they know like all these guys talk. You know what I mean? So when that name comes across your desk, you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I know the Jets GM. He told me.
Yeah. Joe Douglas is like, yeah, have fun.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, and you look at like the Darius Slade trade, right? I mean, a guy coming from a losing culture, but another guy when you listen to him speak and you watch his play, another guy who's a winner. Even though he wasn't winning games in Detroit, it's a guy who's a winner. It's a guy who wants to be better, wants to get better. It's a roster full of that, and it is. And it starts with the players. It starts with the coaching and all that got to buy into each other. But they absolutely have. And we still got a lot of football left to play. But, it's hard to only go up from here because you're 6-0. And I'm not going to sit here and be like 17-0 is happening because that's hard to do. Let's be realistic. So there's going to be some dunkers and some clunkers mixed in here, right? It's just the facts of the matter. It's just the way the league goes. Maybe there's not, right?
But not to mention
all the way through. But
the NFC East is really good, right?
Yeah.
The Giants are proven to be an issue or at least a good team. And the Cowboys obviously are a good team, especially when you get Dak back, right? So the NFC East, regardless of how good or bad we are year after year, is always a gauntlet anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean we're going to lose a couple games, but we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. We're in a great position, and we're the best team in football right now.
And we're
Facts
3
for
wins.
facts.
3 wins.
No, we are. All right. Before we sign off, because it's late into the night. We don't even got to do Crumb this week. This is Kumbaya week. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is Kumbaya week. We got the Phillies in the NLCS.
I got a Crumb.
I'm gonna do it too. I mean, it's not gonna be long. I just want to throw these two out.
Mine's the fucking Dodgers. Suck a dick. Your 111 wins. Crumb, see ya. And I can't wait to see the Padres.
Here we go. Here we go. Guys begging. Guy just begged for the Padres.
I didn't beg. I like the fact that, like, how about the fact that we're playing the Padres who we've played pretty well this year. Also, like, Blake Snell was the one that hit Bryce. Like, it's a whole thing. We got a lot of thing going with the Padres here. Like Bryce and Manny were free at the same time, both signed at the same time. Kind of a cool thing.
The Nola brothers. I mean, listen.
Nola brothers.
And that's why they're in the NLCS. It's the two of the hottest teams right now, and that's what baseball is. You know what I mean? It's like who's playing the best, and those two are playing the best. So I know what Wilson's saying. You know what I mean? The mighty Dodgers. You know what I mean? But I don't know if you're begging for anybody at this point. You know what I mean? Like I don't think the Padres are begging for the Phillies either. You know what I mean? The Padres, to me, the staff is better. The Dodgers lineup is obviously loaded with all-stars. You know what I mean? But I said it during the year. When you win 111 games, it's hard to nitpick, right? But that staff, zero fear out of that staff. You know what I mean? Tony Gosselin, I'm right now. I can't even get to the.
He wears cats on his cleats.
I don't care. I can't get to the plate fast enough against Tony Gosselin.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't trust a guy who wears cats on his sleeve.
Anderson, Anderson. I'm going. Hey, can I bat left-handed? I can't get to the plate fast enough. You know what I mean? Like, all right, old wonky guy. Good shit. I'm okay with that. Clayton's 100. You know what I mean? Like, now you're looking at Darvish, Snell. And Joey Musgrove, right? There's 3 good dudes right there to match the 2 Phillies guys got. So it's going to be a battle. And Peter seems
it's going to be a battle.
Hader found it, and the Suarez guy on the back end. It's going to be an electric series. It's going to be
Suarez is pretty filthy.
Yes, he is. Listen.
Oh, and let's keep
credit to their GM. You know what I mean? Like, the Phillies did made their moves and they went for it as well. But, the Padres really went for it. You know what I mean? And I hate Soto. I hope the Phillies hit him 3 times in the neck at least.
I'm right with you. I hope he gets hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Not really. Anybody.
Right.
Calm down. Calm
Might
down.
as well.
And it's
Hit by a bus.
2022. All right. If he gets hit, all I know is that if he gets hit by a bus, I'm so happy I can predict something like that. That's all I'll say.
Okay, yeah, real quick. I just want to destroy him. Normally I like skipping, but I got the first one is Ronald Acuna. Not only well known scumbag, all right, but JT hits a ball. Michael Harris, what a story for Michael Harris. Right out of the UPS van, had a monster year. He goes left center. The guy's trucking, doing everything he can. Jumps, ball hits off the wall, carries 200 yards to right center, and Acuna doesn't move an inch. This is one of the,
incredible.
He's young. He's not a leader on the team. Just absolutely unacceptable, disgusting. And you wonder why the Padres are where they're at. They're doing it without Tatis. But when Tatis was there, him and Manny went at it. Right, Manny keeps that dude in check as much as he can. In the offseason, he's not riding mopeds with him. But in the dugout, Manny checks that guy. And the Braves let the only dude that ever checked Acuna out the door. Not only your best player in your organizational history, right, and won a World Series with you, you let him walk out the door. Matt Olson, nice player. He ain't yelling at anybody. He's soft as fucking baby shit, right? And they all soft as shit. So they're going to let that guy run the clubhouse, right? And it's disgusting. And I love to see it, right? Screw the Braves, right? But it's just
probably the reason that Acuna was like kind of cool with Freddie being gone. Sweet,
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's blaring the music down in the locker room. He's the cat's meow right now. You know what I mean? And the organization kisses his ass, and it's unacceptable. Right, and I love what and it's old school Bobby Cox. As much as we hate the Braves, you know what I mean. Like, he would pull Andrew out, or he'd pull guys out, that were dogging it, young guys, or young whippersnappers that were hot dogging and shit. He'd yank them out. You know what I mean? Snicker and this generation, ain't nobody doing that shit. It's disgusting to see, and that's why I tell my kids all the time. Tell the high school kids, tell the young kids, tell the kids in camp, right? You watch Major League Baseball for entertainment, not to learn anything. Don't even do it. Just go there, have a good time, get some cotton candy, get some popcorn, cheer for your favorite player. Don't watch to learn anything because it's disgusting. All right? And my
sad because you used to be able to watch baseball to learn stuff.
Yeah.
You used to.
Not anymore. And the second one is just the University of Tennessee. Only hear me out, because now they're taking donations for goalposts. You ain't got money? You're a giant university, right? Great win. You allowed it to happen. Hey, it was fun. Carry them, throw them in the river. Now you're asking for donations with a straight face. How much are goalposts? $1 million? I don't. I can't imagine they are. But you got the money. Stop asking for donations. Get your hand, stop with the handouts. Stop with the UNICEF shit, all right? And pay for the goalpost yourself, all right? I want to hear it.
2022, Sweeps. Everyone just got their hand out for money.
I know.
Give me money. Fucking do some work. Christ.
Better go fund me.
Christ almighty. Start an OnlyFans.
Yeah. I'm going to real quick echo the Braves, or not necessarily the Braves, but the national media for shitting on the Phillies and the Padres. You had no issues with the Braves win that last year with 88 wins, but because the Phillies get in with 87 wins and the Padres are getting right around the same, what they get, 88, all of a sudden it's a travesty. But it was good for you last year, right?
I mean, they shouldn't have added so many fucking playoff spots then.
I agree.
That's on them.
I think the whole thing makes it fun, right?
I like how the Dodgers tried to complain about having the long time off. Long time off didn't seem to hurt the Astros.
Yeah, Astros took care of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not shocking shit at this time of the year. First off, like the time off. Like at anything at this time of the year, you want a couple days.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I would disagree with that, but that's not an excuse. You know what I mean? The Padres beat, Padres won. All right, kicked their ass. Phillies kicked ass. All right, we'll see what happens if the Indians get to the finish line. The Astros
sure
are
hope
just
so.
that good. The Astros are just that much better than the Mariners' offense is anemic. You know what I mean? Now, the Astros are tremendous on the mound, too. So I give credit to them. But 18 innings, you can't score a run. That offense is anemic.
At home.
That offense is anemic. But so I know what you guys are saying. If you got some guys banged up, that's great. But baseball, you guys know, baseball's we play it every day. We're used to playing it every day. We're used to getting reps all the time, and it's a timing thing. And so I don't like it personally, but I like the setup. I mean, I think I love that excitement. I'm always for adding more teams. I think that's exciting. I think that it gives people an opportunity, you know what I mean? Because without that third wild card, that's not an excuse. That isn't like, oh, you made the third wild card, you should count your lucky blessings. No, you went out. Phillies went out and won 2 series, right? So the third wild card it was exciting and awesome, and they're exactly where they're right where they belong, all right? With their play on the field in the postseason, all right. So that ain't no excuse. But for me personally, so it's not about like, you guys are wrong about that. Me personally, I don't like. I think I don't like it. But it could, like I said.
I mean, it's 5 days, so I'll hear you on that. That's like too many days.
Yeah.
I could see if you call it like a 3 spot, which is still probably you still would say too many. But I hear you. I hear you.
And then I'll finish up with this real quick.
The only addition to that, then, Swips, is to add more teams and have everybody play.
Yeah, don't get a bye.
No bye. Got to add another playoff team.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
You're right.
Wilson.
2-7, 3-6, 4-5. Let's go. Giddy up. I'm okay with that.
Russell Wilson. The fact that your old teammates can't get a hold of you to make sure you're all right and check in on you, they got to go through your manager. You're Crumb. Plus, he stink right now. So
yeah. We knew all about this. I mean, this went Hollywood real quick.
He's a straight weirdo. We know that.
Yeah. This went Hollywood real quick with him and Sierra. It's cute. Now he wants to be a pocket quarterback and try to, hold on to his career a little bit longer. He's got paid a lot of money to be the guy you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, big time Crumb. And the sweeps is 5-day point. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's. The reps are so important, but human nature is always different for everybody too. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It might hurt some guys, might help others, right? You don't know. It might hurt everybody, and there's no like way of knowing. Like Houston came out slow in game 1, obviously, because Seattle rocked Verlander all around the ballpark.
Yeah.
And guess what? They got freaking scorching, and Jordan hit a ball that hasn't landed yet. So, they're that good. That's why they're still playing. And part of it's Seattle too. Sure. Right. The other side of it is, Seattle had a win to get to them. Right. So Seattle wins to get to them. You think they're feeling good about themselves. So my comment to the Braves and Braves and Dodgers fans is, are you guys supposed to be as good as Houston? Go take care of business. You're playing,
you're supposed to be set up. Like if anything, we had to use our pitching to get to you. You should be set up with your aces ready to go. That should be the advantage.
Which they were. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. We
said game 1. We said Philly steal game 1. Look out, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I believe we said.
And then they called up game 2, right? You call up game 2, you're worried. Like I was worried. Like I don't like that.
I knew that was happening.
Yeah, but I don't like that because it's your.
I hear you because
that's scary now because it's the big bad Braves, in my opinion. The World Series champs. So I'm scared of them getting hot as an offense. And credit the Knowles. Game 3 needing to come out and deal. Flat out did it. And then
I was worried about Saturday. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I knew we were gonna win Friday. I was worried about Saturday, and I mean I just wasn't sure if Charlie was gonna come out and deal. Because I figured they were going to score some runs. But, hey, we got to them,
Well, it's big for us because
you expected Knowles to do his thing because he's been rolling. Without the layoff, I think Friday would have scared me more. I know you always think of the law of averages, and as good as Strider has been against the Phillies, you figure they would get him one of these times. But I think without the layoff, that goes 6 or 7 scoreless, and they just match each other. and maybe not. I don't have a crystal ball. I think we talked about it pregame.
Oh, without his time off, you mean?
He's going to be rusty. Yeah, because
absolutely. Well,
that's why I wasn't as worried about Friday. Had he just been, on regular rest, and he didn't have all that time off, I think that might be a 7-inning scoreless game, and the Phillies find a way to get into the pen and win that game late. Instead of what they did, which was an epic at bat by Bryson Stott and just an absolute explosion after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually think the Braves panicked. I think the Braves panicked by going Strider there as opposed to going Morton. Like I anticipated them going Morton.
Move. Yeah, I thought.
And then Strider on Saturday.
I guess because they think that Morton hasn't had a good year, but I thought that was a desperate move by them.
I did. I agree.
I know, but what's one day though? I mean, he had already pitched for 26 days though. You know what I mean?
I just meant I thought
like the matchup. You didn't like the matchup, I guess.
I don't know.
I hear you.
I just think they tried to save it with Strider, and he just wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? So you already lost the game.
Like, he's only going to throw 3 innings and all this.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
I
don't know why you go to that on Friday against Nola.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was on a restriction. I figured I guess he would have been, but I didn't know there was anything like that.
Listen,
that's what they were saying.
They're trying to run their best out to keep 3 scoreless, and that's the way they're looking at it. They're trying to match Nola any way they can.
I don't like that one bit. I had no idea about that. I was driving in a car. I just wasn't paying attention enough.
I go to a guy who
you bring the guy out of the pen then. If you're going to do if that's your thing, like I know there's openers because we're surrounded by nerds, but if you're going to do that, you bring a guy out of the pen then. If you want 3 innings, you let him lengthen the game. You let him get you to middle innings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You go to a guy who's pitched in big games in the postseason and won a bunch of them, and a guy like Charlie Morton in that game.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, because you knew that we were going to do kind of a 3 inning type starter. Yeah, what we did on Saturday. We're a kind of game where we kind of use kind of a bullpen game almost in the playoffs, and you knew that. So that was the day to me to throw Strider and kind of do that. That's what I thought was weird, but whatever. Hey, it worked out for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, this series was over the second Reese lost the baseball. The second that comes off of Strider, this series is a wrap. You worry a little bit about Saturday. Hey, can we carry it over? Can we hit again? Because that was my big concern Saturday. Throughout the week was like, are we gonna swing it on Saturday? Because we got to swing it to win it. And listen, man, you find guys in the postseason. That's the thing, right? There's people out there in the chats that were upset about trading Mickey Moniak for Brandon Marsh. I mean, I know those people, right? And that's I'm not saying it always pays off, but those types of moves and that kind of that one swing, it changes it all because now they're playing behind. They're in elimination day.
And the Phillies had guys on all day, and they were leaving a lot of meat on the bone. You know what I mean? So, and that's just like you said, pitchers will always have me scratching the head. It was kind of a shadow. There was kind of shadows. You threw 3 fastballs by Harper, which isn't easy to do. And then you're going to flip up a breaking ball against Braden Marsh.
You could hit a fastball.
And I like Marshy. You know what I mean? I love the beard. I love everything he's about. And I will never understand pitchers. I never will. And even catchers. If it came from Travis whoever came from, I just never leave a lady who loves you. It's still the best pitch in baseball. A well-located fastball. First pitch fastball for a strike and well-located fastball.
And Charlie can hum it too, so it's not like he's lacking.
He was 90. He was 97. I said he threw 3 fastballs by Harp. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well placed. You know what I mean? Like nothing middle in where Harp can hit it off the base of the Walt Whitman Bridge. You know what I mean? They were away, and he just he leaked out on all 3 of them. You know what I mean?
All right, what do you guys say prediction wise?
Phil's in 6. Let's go.
They're both playing well.
I think if they use Wheeler, Nola 1 and 2, they can come back 5 and 6 on full rest.
Yeah.
So that's that, and so those are my 4 games. Those are my 4 games. Phillies in 6. I'm with you.
Jump on board.
Yeah, the way this team's sort of had this like little road run they've had of just being away for so long. Since you guys both went 6, I'll say Phillies in 7. I think this series goes 7. These teams are so evenly matched in their ways. It's weird.
I almost went 5.
We talked about their back end of the bullpen. Well, Sir Anthony's last outing showed he's back. And Alvarado's been unreal since coming back up. I mean, he's been unreal.
How about that? He hasn't thrown. He threw one curveball that dude Yepes homered off of. Hasn't thrown it since.
Nope.
It's been all sinker, slider.
I love the Sir Anthony giving a night at the end. after striking him out, night.
Listen, he had some juice going on. That crowd got him juiced up. But these offenses are evenly matched in ways. I mean, this is if this isn't 7, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
the way we had this little road and spent all this time on the road together. Something tells me we pop bottles there.
I'd like to knock off the closing too. Can we do that? Can Eflin throw like the 7th?
Well, I think Sir Anthony's proved that he's back, so I think we're good.
I mean, listen to me. Let's be honest. It's got to be Alvarado Anthony at the end. It's got to be Alvarado, Sir Anthony. That's how you got to end the game.
Tough to hit. Those two.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, and their back end's dirty too. This is, to me, this is 7 burger, and the Padres, found a way to beat their daddy. And it's nothing against the Phillies. The Phillies been awesome. I'm rooting for the Phillies. So, but I'll be different, and Padres in 7.
Hope that doesn't come true.
Yeah.
I
might take you off the show if that happens.
It's 2-3-2, correct?
Yes, 2-3-2.
And both teams got to hop on the red eye.
I almost want to say Phillies in 5.
Both teams got to hop on the red eye Sunday night, and they're playing Monday, so there's no day off.
That's terrible. But I guarantee you the AL's got 7 days off. Guaranteed the AL's got 7 days off.
Yeah, why does the AL have so many days off? What's that about? Fucking
I don't know. It had something to do with I saw a blurb. It had something to do with
because there was no games Thursday night. Yeah, they wanted to have games every night. That's why.
The TV partners wanted to have it. Yeah. So they wanted them all on day 1, and then they gave the AL a day off. And so that way you could just have it games every day.
Yep.
Yes, Sam. Sixer show's coming this week, baby. Tip
Of
off.
course, and you know how we roll.
Tip off time.
I don't care less.
See Maxie go for 30 a night. I'll hop on later when they lose in the second round again.
I'll be back in January and watch us lose in the second round. Don't worry.
Did you see the funny trolls and memes coming out because Joel was at the Phillies on Saturday and he's like, well, at least Joel saw how you get out of the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not doing that to my guy. I'm not doing that.
I laugh at it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I do hope that Tyrese drops 30 a night because I feel like that's our only shot because that big fucking loser is going to hurt us again. And I ain't talking about Joel.
Here we go.
The dude, I can't believe he had the balls. I should call him Crumb of the fucking decade for having the balls to say he hasn't got enough credit for taking less of a deal. You stink. You're washed. Are you unaware? You shot one shot in the last half of the biggest game of our season last year. One shot. Almost said career. Almost did. Of our season last year. One shot. And you're slower than fucking me right now. Okay? Seriously. You stink. You're washed. I don't want to hear shit. You're lucky we pay you. Fucking, all I want you to do is talk to Maxie and get him better. That's all I want you to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to be decent. I know that's all you want him to do. I'm going to need you to be decent.
I just want Maxie to be a superstar, and we can just put him out. We can take him out back and shoot him like an old racehorse.
You said about Matt Ryan, and let it up to that.
It was funny before you started that. Sam Ellinger was like, warming up on the sidelines, like they were getting ready to go to him, and then he started turning around.
Then Wilson hit send.
Wilson hit send, and it was like, good night.
That was great.
Good news, real quick, Phillies wise. Kyle Schwarber can't be as bad in the NLCS as he was in the DS. So that's
I
some
mean,
good news.
I mean, he can.
I hope no,
He's
it's
too
not.
much of a good postseason player.
That's
His career for me
Yeah.
continues, but I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
exactly
he's gonna
it.
get out of it. I hope.
Somebody said he's a little bit banged up. I heard, obviously everybody's got a little nicks and bruises
Sure.
right now, but supposedly like some lower half. See the way he never runs well, but if you see the way he's running now, doesn't look like he's 100, but he can still find the barrel. So hopefully he finds a couple in this series because
Be nice.
we're gonna need it.
I'll say one thing, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but a lot of guys in our lineup have historically have good numbers against a couple of their pitchers. Musgrove and Snell are the two, really. But yeah, really good numbers.
Yeah, Darvish is hit or miss for me. Like I don't know, I don't know what you.
He actually has pretty good numbers against us, but I agree. I feel like he's like 38 now. He's like He's either on or off.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Wheeler to go 7 scoreless. You know what I mean? If 7 give up 1. Like I need Wheels to come out and absolutely mow them down and set a tone for this series. It's so important. I mean, game 1, game 3s. Game 1, game 3s. I mean, they're the big tone setters for series. What do we do against Atlantic? Game 1, game 3. So I mean, there's a recipe for it. Doesn't mean it always works out that way. You don't have to win those games to win a series, but it definitely puts you in a driver's seat for sure. But when you have your ace going and they do have theirs, right? The team that wins that's feeling a lot better. I mean, you're feeling a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And we know how that works in the postseason, right? And I think they're feeling good about themselves. We're feeling good about themselves. We beat the defending champ. They beat their daddy, and here we both are. So who has a letdown from it?
Another day game on Wednesday. Can they
fucking joke?
Games?
Fucking joke. So that game gets played.
I can't believe that we're the day game Wednesday. We're the day
12
game
o'clock
Wednesday.
West Coast. 12 o'clock West Coast. Who's watching that game? Who's watching that game?
Grow up.
Why can we not
4:35.
an hour start times apart from each other? Why is that a problem? Why can't one game go at 7:30, one game go at 8:30? You ever hear of a last?
Why can't it be at 9:45 like the games are normally played on the West Coast, so I can see it when I get done work?
We've done shows well documented about my last channel button, thumb. So I mean, absolutely agree with you, buddy. I mean, like a gunslinger with the last channel button.
I mean, I had 2 TVs for a reason. I can watch them both at the same time.
I can't believe they're gonna afternoon us. And
But it's
I
terrible.
Was like,
it's terrible.
I was like, well, we'll be on the West Coast, so at least we'll be playing at night. Nope. What's the first game? Is it 8?
Yeah, 8:07 Tuesday.
Oh, I'll see the last 3 innings probably.
Yeah,
no, actually, fucking Wheeler versus Darvish. I might see the last inning.
The only show in town on Tuesday, Wednesday 4:35.
Yeah, it's a 1:30 game out there.
Friday 7:30. Saturday 7:45. Sunday 2:37. Game 5.
2:37. Cool Shadows. Starting a game at 2:30.
2:37.
Oh, that's the game I was trying to get tickets to.
2:37.
Next Sunday.
Well, that's because they fly out the next day because of this shit.
Yes. It's exactly.
And that'll be. Oh, the Phillies have a bye week. Oh, it works perfectly.
Eagles, yeah.
Eagles have a bye week. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's Tommy's right. That's exactly why. Because everybody's got to hit the red eye, and then 8:03 on Monday if necessary, and Tuesday 8:03 if necessary.
It's only one.
They're
day
just
game, then.
cramming. But they're just cramming these in, huh? I mean, no off day at all.
Oh yeah, because they're going like.
I think that's what we lost with the shortened
one off day.
Yeah, it's going in.
Yeah, because we started late.
Oh yeah, it's going in November. You know what I mean? It's going to
first travel.
If the Phillies
off day, Wills. First
get to the finish line.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. They're not doing the off day for the second travel day. That's wild.
Yep.
Especially when we got to go to San Diego. That's wild.
Yeah, they probably weren't hoping for that. You know what
I mean?
The trip out's not the bad one. It's the trip back is the bad one.
And if it's Cleveland,
Thanks, Greg.
if it's Cleveland, Yankees, or the Phillies, it's gonna be titties in November.
Oh, it's gonna be cold. Yeah.
First off, I hope
Tommy's
the Yankees
retractable.
lose tomorrow.
The Tommy's
Hope the Yankees
Tommy's
lose
face.
tomorrow.
The Tommy's retractable dome face.
I hope
The
that
fact that it's
Yankees lose
2022,
tomorrow.
it's 2022, and we don't all have a retractable. Like, you know what? Oh, it's gonna be 35 tonight. Look at put the dome up. You don't want to do it when it's 60, 65.
Normally, I would say that you're a pussy, but baseball's not made to be played in the cold.
No, it's not being a pussy. It's just playing in like good environments would make for the best product. You know what I mean? Like
I actually like when I wish that the NFL would like. I don't like how the Super Bowl was always played in like warm cities. I wish it would have been played all over. They started to kind of do that recently, but with baseball, it's different though. You know what I mean? Baseball.
You can't get a feel because, like, as a pitcher, you can't feel your fingers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, being in the Northeast, like, high school baseball in March is absolutely
it's awful,
miserable. Dude. Like,
it's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I got you got the hood up, you got you're sitting there coaching, you got the gloves on. I couldn't imagine, trying to pitch, and then you get fisted, and now you got 8 fingers, you got nothing, you got no thumbs left for about 6 minutes. Brutal.
Yeah, the worst.
They were at one time talking about swapping soccer and baseball. The seasons have baseball come in as a fall sport and play obviously September through November.
Oh, all they got to do is go through June. You know what I mean? April to June, we're good. I mean, it's still rainy, and then we still get rain, but all you got to do is extend it. It's just it's just because they want travel ball. So travel ball boners out. They want that industry's huge. They want that to get started. You know what I mean?
Speaking of travel ball, congrats, Tommy.
Thank you, sir.
Little dub.
Sir.
Was that without Parker? Dub without Parker?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. Good day.
Is that your stud?
One of the better players. Yeah, one of the better players.
Sure. One of them. I mean, hit a ball out. That was a good time.
Oh yeah, that's always a good time.
Yeah. Send you guys the video. It's absurd. And then hit one off the top of the fence. What just happened? That's absurd. All right, boys. Great show. Before I fall asleep on air, get out of here. Great week for Philly sports. Great week.
That's never happened on A2D Airways.
What me falling asleep? Oh yeah.
No, somebody falling asleep on air.
Shout out Noah Eaton.
Seahawks punter got destroyed.
Sorry, I cut you off when you're doing your ad.
No. Great show, boys. No, it ain't no cut me off. It's a great show. City of winners. Let's go finish the job. Let's get into a World Series. Big series coming up here. Sixers open up Tuesday night too against the Celtics.
8 wins.
You better hope the Qs don't win at Clemson. I'm going to be a fucking problem. I'll tell you that.
You aren't already.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here.